please take your seats? Good morning, everyone. May I have your attention, please? I'm Curtis Hancock, Acting Chairman of the AgFirst Farm Credit Bank Board of Directors. Our Chairman, John Langford, was unable to attend the meeting because he is recovering from surgery. He's doing just fine right now, and he sends his regrets and regards for us. We wish him a speedy recovery and look forward to him resuming his duties in the coming weeks. I'd like to officially call the AgFirst Farm Credit Bank's 2017 Annual Stockholders Meeting to order. On behalf of the board, I'd like to extend a hearty welcome to everyone that is here today. Before we get started, I would remind everyone to please silence your cell phones. Thank you. To begin the program this morning, I ask that you all rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now I'd like to introduce a special guest who will sing our national anthem. Ashley Layson is the Chief Marketing Officer for Farm Credit of Florida. Ashley was a news anchor in Tennessee and Alabama for 8 years before she joined Farm Credit. She is passionate about creating cutting-edge, results-oriented marketing campaigns that bring new customers to her association. She's also a talented singer who likes to perform the national anthem at rodeos, baseball games, and festivals. She is so talented that she was crowned the Voice of the Ocean by Princess Cruises last year. We are honored to have Ashley share her talents with us here today. Please welcome her to the stage.
If you would please rise for the anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Ashley, for singing our national anthem so beautifully. I'd like to ask everyone to be seated now, as you are, and help me welcome North Carolina's Agriculture Commissioner, Steve Troxler. Steve was raised in the tiny town of Brown Summit, North Carolina, just a few hours northeast of here. He's a career farmer and has been protecting agriculture in his public service role for over a decade. Steve's focus has been on developing new markets for North Carolina's farm products, preserving working farms, and protecting the state's food supply. He also works with a variety of associations throughout the state to promote agriculture. In these roles, he has advocated for soil and water conservation, rural economic development, and biotechnology. Steve has won numerous awards for his tireless efforts. We are proud to have him here today and to welcome us to this beautiful state. Welcome, Steve.
Good morning. Welcome to the great state of North Carolina, especially Western North Carolina. I know of no other place that I have ever visited that is more beautiful or has better people than Western North Carolina, so I think you're really going to enjoy your time here. I want to extend a special welcome to the Honorable Hugh Weathers, Commissioner of Agriculture from the great state of South Carolina. Hugh and I are good friends and have served in a number of leadership roles with the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture. And while he's no stranger to North Carolina, it's always a great thing for him to be here. There are so many Hugh Weathers sightings in Western North Carolina, I got a little concerned that maybe he was dissatisfied with his job in South Carolina and might be trying to establish residence here, but we found out he does have kin people here in Western North Carolina, so he's a regular visitor and always welcome to the state of North Carolina. One thing that I hope you will check out about Hugh, Hugh wears no socks. I think this is a lowlands South Carolina thing, but Richard Burr, our state senator, our federal senator, has adopted that too. So I tease him a lot about that, but if you'd ever had the experience that I had, in fact in Myrtle Beach, I burnt the tops of my feet and ankles so bad with sunburn that I would not dare take my socks off in the moonlight. My policy is I don't take my socks off until the lights are out in the room. So Hugh, you can have it. I'll stick to my traditional socks. We have a lot of things going on in Western North Carolina. First, you know, our mountain heritage, which we treasure here in North Carolina. And the Department of Agriculture has a lot of things in this area, and I hope you take the time to get out and visit this area. I wouldn't dare advocate that you miss a minute of a meeting, but there's some interesting things to see around here. And what I'm trying to say is spend money. That's what we're really after. We have the Western North Carolina Farmers Market that's right at the interchange of 240 and I-26. That's a very interesting farmers market, a lot of diverse products on the market. I hope you have the time to go by and see that. We also have the Western North Carolina Ag Center here, the site of the Mountain State Fair, which always begins the Friday after Labor Day. I can't miss is DuPont State Forest, the site of the filming of Hunger Games and part of Last of the Mohegans. We've been averaging about 700,000 visitors to this state forest a year. It's over on the edge of Transylvania and Henderson counties, probably about 45 minutes away, and that is another can't miss. We have a national treasure here in this area also, Biltmore House. We, in 2013, were able to bring the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture here as the host state, and were able to have it at the Biltmore State. We all got a little above our raising. If you've ever seen Biltmore House and how grandiose it is, but one night we actually had the Biltmore House all to ourselves with private tours and meals, and so it was pretty special, and I convinced everybody across the nation that all of North Carolina looked just like that, so I hope they do come back. I guess the one thing about the Biltmore Estate that sticks out in my mind, that is a farm. And it is one of 1,500 century farms that we have in North Carolina, which means that farm has had to be in continuous operation by the same family for over 100 years. So that's another at least day's adventure. So I've got you up to about a week staying in North Carolina, and I hope you can actually stay longer. I hope when I speak about agriculture and agribusiness in the state of North Carolina, you can see how proud I am of this industry and the things that it has accomplished. It's an $84 billion industry in North Carolina, the #1 industry by a long shot. The military is number 2 at about $60 billion, and then as beautiful as this state is, with all the attractions from the mountains to the coast, tourism actually comes in at number 3, so we've got a lot going. We not only produce $84 billion in economic activity, we also directly or indirectly employ about 686,000 people across the state, so it's huge, and the thing is, it's growing. We rank in the top 5 so in a lot of categories nationally, and 2 that we're very proud of. Number 1 in the nation is sweet potatoes and tobacco. But then at number 2, we have poultry and eggs. We have hogs, we have turkeys, Christmas trees, trout, and all poultry. Number 3 in fresh market tomatoes. Number 4 in broilers, cucumbers, and strawberries. And number 5 at catfish, peanuts, and cotton. So you can see the diversity that we have in the state of North Carolina when it comes to agriculture. And we hope to grow this industry to $100 billion by the year 2020. That's very aggressive, but I don't know how you don't set aggressive goals if you're going to ever try to get there. People tend to lollygag around and not go do it if you don't say, well, here's the date we're going to do it by. So I put that goal out there, and I think it is entirely doable, but we've got to do some things. We've got to continue to market our products abroad. Exports are about a $5 billion a year industry. We want to grow food manufacturing in North Carolina and add even more value to the products that we are producing here. And we think we can do that. Recommendations from the Food Manufacturing Task Force are being implemented beginning this year. And we think that's a possible $10 billion addition to the state of North Carolina's economy. But we've also got to focus on the production side. We've got to continue to do agricultural research. If you think back 100 years about where all of us were in agriculture, and I know that the farm credit system is about 100 years old also, a little over 100, but there was a lot of subsistence farmers at that time. Today, a farmer feeds 155 people. The weather has been a constant. It's always too wet, and it's always too dry, and it's always too cold, and it's always too hot. That's a farmer's constant. So we're going to have to continue production practices to deal with that and do the agricultural research. Policy is going to be very, very important. But I keep going back to agricultural research. That is what will take us forward. And quite frankly, when you go to the legislature and say, you know, we've got to do more ag research, and we've got an abundance of ag products, and the grocery shelves are full, it's not an easy sell, but that's what will propel us forward toward feeding the billions of people that we've got to feed by the year 2050. Can we produce 75, 80, 100% more food by that time? Well, probably, if everything goes right. But we've got to continually work with legislators and policy to make sure that we have the resources available to be able to do that. If there's one thing that you take away from here today that I said is one thing I want you to remember. Hungry people are mean people. Think about it. You see it worldwide. People will go to great extremes to feed their children, their grandchildren, their mothers, their fathers. And sometimes that means that there are going to be wars, and sometimes it means there's going to be terrorism and political unrest. So we in agriculture, you know, we've got an economic opportunity to do this, but we also kind of have a moral obligation to do it to keep the world free. And so we've got to continue to address these issues as time moves on. I welcome you once again to North Carolina, to Western North Carolina. I am a 43-year member of the Farm Credit System, and the one thing I've learned about ag finance, it's pretty easy to get agricultural financing when everything's good. But when the tables turn on you and something goes wrong, you really need somebody that understands agriculture and understands what happens sometimes to be able to work long term. What this also means is I became a member when I was about 3 years old. I'm not really that old, but it's been a great relationship, and I do appreciate the Farm Credit System and all the things that you've done to advance agriculture forward. Once again, enjoy North Carolina, spend money. My budget depends on taxes and revenues, so go spend all the money that you have and go home broke. Thank you.
Steve, if you just get tired of being agriculture commissioner, maybe they'll have a job in the tourism department. You're pretty good at that too. Thank you, Steve. Now we'll hear from Dallas Tonsauger. He is the board chairman and CEO of the Farm Credit Administration. Chairman Tonsauger has served on the Farm Credit Administration Board for the past 2 years and was appointed chairman and CEO last November. He has also served as board chairman of the Farm Credit Insurance Corporation and has also served as undersecretary for rural development with the USDA. The chairman has been instrumental in expanding broadband services in rural communities, expanding the USDA's water and wastewater programs, and also funding biofuels. He comes into leadership at the FCA at a critical time as Washington prepares to debate a new farm bill. Chairman Tonsauger is here today to give us an update on FCA's activities. Please welcome the chairman of the FCA to the stage.
Good morning. Thank you for the kind welcome. And for the leadership of the AgFirst District, I'd like to recognize President and CEO Tim Emerson, who is also chairman of the Funding Corporation. Tim is leading an important initiative on internal controls over financial reporting, and I appreciate his work in this area. I was sorry to hear that Board Chairman John Langford is on medical leave and can't be with us today. I will keep him in my thoughts and prayers. I'd also like to recognize Board Vice Chairman Curtis Hancock. Kurt, thank you for your leadership as well and for many years of distinction of service. When Ken Spearman passed away earlier this year, I lost an esteemed colleague and friend. Having served as a director on your board, Ken had a special relationship with the AgFirst District. His service to the system and the Farm Credit Administration was outstanding, and we will continue to benefit over the years from the leadership he provided. One of the areas on which Ken focused during his time as FCA chairman was internal controls. I would like to continue this focus because I believe that having strong internal controls is central to building a public confidence in the farm credit system. A key focus in my speech to the Farm Credit Council earlier this year was the importance of confidence. The system needs the confidence of all its stakeholders, from the farmers and ranchers it was created to serve, to its investors, to the members of Congress who oversee the system and the FCA. As board members and managers of the bank and the associations and district, you hold the key to public confidence in your institutions. It is up to you to provide the oversight necessary to prevent fraud and abuse and to make sure your institutions serve their mission in safe and sound way. As part of providing a robust set of internal controls, you must be sure to provide for a separation of duties within your institutions so that multiple individuals are involved in any given loan transaction. For example, a loan officer should never have the authority to override controls designed to provide checks and balances in the loan-making progress. I also urge you to carefully consider any incentives you provide your loan officers that might indirectly motivate them to take undue risk or commit fraud. As the regulator of the farm credit system, we will do our part to oversee your institutions. For example, we are considering proposing our standards of conduct regulation to require each system institution to establish its own benchmarks, policies, and procedures for its standards of conduct program. We believe that this would place principles of loyalty, fairness, and ethics at the core of each institution's business practices. In my speech to the Farm Credit Council earlier this year, I laid out 5 points that I thought were critical to the success of the farm credit systems. Confidence was the first one. The other 4 points help to strengthen confidence. The first is to seek the best possible outcome for every borrower. System borrowers have experienced increased stress from lower commodity prices and in many areas lower farmland prices. These stresses have caused some borrowers, especially those who fall into the categories of young, beginning, or small, to have difficulty making their loan payments. By proactively identifying these borrowers and working with them to find the best ways out of their financial difficulties, you are helping them achieve their best possible outcomes. Working with borrowers in this regard will build confidence of your stakeholders in the farm system's safety and soundness and its dedication to mission. By encouraging to work with borrowers in difficulty, I am not, however, suggesting that you throw caution to the wind. To be able to serve future generations of borrowers, you must pay close attention to your safety and soundness. And we, as the regulator, must maintain the integrity of our examination function and call the FERS ratings as we see them. My third point involves partnerships. Through partnerships, you can build the confidence of your stakeholders by making valuable investments in rural communities, where most of your business live. And by the way, the agency has established a fast-track approval process for those investment applications that meet the conditions we've set forth. And the fourth point is to provide all system services to all system borrowers. In any given area of lending, the system has institutional experts. If your institution doesn't offer a particular product or service, look for a system partner so that your people in your territories can get what they need. Although each institution is owned and controlled by its shareholders, all institutions are part of the same network established by Congress to serve agriculture. That's why I believe it makes sense for all system borrowers to have the same access to all system services. And my fifth point is about system structure. Rather than allowing the system to evolve in a haphazard way, system institutions need to give careful thoughts to all changes in structure. And by system institutions, I truly mean all system institutions, not just those contemplating mergers. Again, because the system is a network of institutions, the actions of a few impact on everyone. I've also called for a year of dialogue between the FCA and the structure on the sixth system. I'd like to expand on that idea now by urging system institutions to continue discussing among yourselves the impacts of mergers and other structural changes. The goal of most mergers is to achieve economics of scale, which can offer many benefits, such as making credit more affordable to borrowers. In some ways, however, mergers can impair the ability of institutions to serve their borrowers. By discussing the issues among yourselves, you may find able to find an optimal balance between efficiency and mission fulfillment. And speaking of mission, the system has a particular mission to serve young, beginning, and small farmers. Congress amended the Farm Credit Act in 1980 to emphasize service to YBS borrowers. They recognize that these farmers are not only critical to the future of agriculture, but also more vulnerable to downturns in the farm economy. In other words, they need a little extra help. I'd like to show of hands, and how many of you have ever been a young or beginning farmer? I would hope it'd be pretty much everybody in the room. Okay. I'm a little hesitant. I want to tell you a story about myself. I was a beginning farmer back in 1976. I was a 22-year-old dairy farmer, and my brother and I decided to build a freestall barn and parlor. We had a contractor do some of the work, but also did a lot of it ourselves. When the project was almost finished, we had hundreds of pieces of scrap, metal, and wood lying around the work site. Thinking it was time to do a good cleanup job, I had a contractor with a backhoe dig a hole straight down about 20 feet, about 8 feet across, and I started to fill it up. And so at the end of the day, I had misjudged, and the hole was full, and I still had a lot of stuff left. So I decided it would be a good idea to burn it because there's quite a bit of wood in the hole, and then I'd be able to shove it all back in. So I dumped about 5 gallons of gasoline into the hole, stepped back a few feet, tossed a match in, and the explosion knocked me back about 10 feet, and I was getting up. There wasn't a scrap of anything left in the hole, but it was all in the air coming down on me. So, I had to, I don't know if there's a lesson to be learned from that other than it's just not smart to throw 5 gallons of gasoline in the hole in the ground. But life's lessons come hard sometime. And so I think for YBS farmers, you can help them and work with them, but I don't think there's anything that actually teaches you not to be stupid at any given moment. Okay. I would like to take the time to commend AgFirst District for doing a really good job of serving YBS producers. I understand that most of your associations have extensive outreach programs for YBS borrowers and that you actively support youth programs such as FFA and 4-H. In 2016, both the number of loans and the dollar volume of new outstanding loans in AgFirst District increased in each YBS category. Also across your district, participants in the Ag Biz Planner program designed to prepare young, beginning, and small and minority farmers for success. I understand that some of your institutions even provide financial incentives to YBS borrowers who complete your training programs. These efforts are important. They help ensure the success not only of the producers to whom they are targeted, but also the long-term success of our nation's agriculture industry. And now I'd like to turn to FCA's regulatory agenda, which you've asked me to address. As a regulator, it's our job to provide regulations that help you meet your mission, preserve your safety and soundness, and comply fully with all laws. But we also want to make sure that we never go beyond these 3 goals. In the spirit of President Trump's initiative to ease regulatory burden, we have issued our regulatory burden notice 1 year earlier than we are required to do under the Farm Credit Act. In fact, we're currently accepting comments on this notice on our website, so I invite you to share any recommendations you have for the removal or revision of outdated, unnecessary, or burdensome regulations. The comment period for the notice closes on August 16th. Our goal is always to ensure regulations that strengthen the system's ability to meet its congressional mission. For example, I believe the proposed rules we are developing on standards of conduct will help protect the system against wrongdoing or the appearance of wrongdoing. This is important to the mission because it will strengthen confidence in the system so that more farmers will turn to the system institutions for their credit needs and more investors will turn to the system for sound investments. We are also seeking to finalize the investment eligibility rule, which would allow associations to make government-guaranteed investments for specific risk management purposes within certain portfolio limits. And we are reviewing our collateral evaluation regulations to determine where updates are needed. And we are reviewing the ways system institutions use stress testing in their balanced business planning and risk management. Of course, we also provide guidance to the system through other means than regulations. Recently, we issued guidance on identifying and reporting suspected criminal activities, and we plan to issue further guidance on this topic in the future. I would like to thank the AgFirst District for your willingness to accept our guidance, listen to our concerns, and take the corrective actions called for in the reports of examination. We are also grateful for the AgFirst associations for reaching out to us when you've had issues involving standards of conduct and information technology. And I would like to commend you for being proactive in developing loan servicing strategies for borrowers who are experiencing financial difficulties due to low commodity prices. Since there's no relief in sight from low commodity prices, I'd like to encourage you to continue being proactive in this way. You'll need to be especially attentive regarding borrower rights, which all institutions are required by law to provide. By carefully adhering to the regulatory process for identifying and handling distressed customers, you can protect your institution's both legal and reputation risk. And what's more, you can help these borrowers achieve their best possible outcomes. Since our examiners have identified some instances of noncompliance with borrower rights, I would encourage you to consider providing refresher training in this area, including the role of credit review committees in providing these rights. I'll close with just a few thoughts. The AgFirst district has experienced some significant challenges over the past year or so, as if an extended period of low commodity prices were not enough. Your district faced some major weather-related challenges. After parts of South Carolina experienced severe drought in the spring of 2015, catastrophic flooding occurred in the fall. In late 2016, Hurricane Matthew brought trouble to producers in both North and South Carolina. Later in March of 2017, a freeze hit some Georgia producers hard. As a result, even some associations with diverse portfolios are starting to see declines in credit quality. So far this year, rainfall has been sufficient, and conditions for many of the major crops in your district, corn, soybeans, winter wheat, cotton, beans, and hay, have looked favorable. Crop price expectations for 2017 are similar to those of last year, although peanut prices are expected to be somewhat higher and cotton prices somewhat lower. The livestock sector, including broiler, dairy, and hog enterprises, have a modest profit outlooks for the rest of the year. So in general, your district is doing well. Your financial condition is strong. Your service to YBS borrowers is growing, and the term limits that you establish for your bank's board of directors serves you well by providing for new perspectives and leadership opportunities. By further strengthening your internal controls, by paying close attention to borrower rights provisions, and by closely monitoring credit quality, your district can continue to improve conditions and performance, even in the face of today's challenging farm economy. And your district's dedication to cooperative principles will help ensure that you continue to meet the mission for which the system was created more than a century ago. Again, thank you for the opportunity to join you today. I look forward to visiting with you, some of you, as we get an opportunity, and thanks again.
Again, I'd like to thank the Honorable Chairman Tonsager for your remarks, and thank you for that update. Now I'd like to take a few moments to talk about the future of the AgFirst District. In 2016, Farm Credit celebrated 100 years of service to our nation's farmers, agribusinesses, and rural communities. In 2017, we move into the future, ready to tackle the challenges of changing dynamics in farming, financing, and technology. The AgFirst District is preparing for the future by identifying new market segments, aligning our sales and marketing functions, and enhancing our technology and service offerings to support growth and position our district for success. Growth is a key goal for all associations. As a district, we are taking several steps to help ensure that we are pursuing the right customers at the right time with the right message. Our sales and marketing departments across the district recently wrapped up a successful joint conference to look for ways to work together to work more closely together. Aligning these functions helps us to make sure we're getting quality leads, passing them along to the right people, and following through to give everyone who is qualified a chance to be part of the Farm Credit family. As a district, we recently surveyed some of those customers and prospects to gain clarity on how they see agriculture and the specific role that they fill. We wanted to find out their biggest needs and their pressing concerns, and to get a feel for who influences them and what drives their decision making. We ended up with a trove of information that will allow us to offer a more customized approach to service their needs. Our mission is about so much more than just gaining customers. It's about truly understanding our customers and meeting their specific needs so they can keep the farm running even in the hard times, or to expand their operations. It's about allowing a family to buy a home in the country so they can stay in their community that they love and contribute to its overall health. It is also about helping a new farmer get started as he pursues his passion. As we explore the changing dynamics of the American farmer, we have to keep in mind the way technology is impacting our world. Today's farmers are tech savvy and increasingly so. They expect to be able to find us online and conduct business on their iPad while working in their barn or farming their fields. We have to give them options, and through our partnership with AgFirst, that's just what we're doing. Through efforts like our Lending Lifecycle initiative, we are ensuring that our business practices keep pace with customer expectations. Our philosophy is simple and has not changed. Make it easy for the customer to do business with us, and they will keep coming back. We can know the customer well, we can provide competitive rates, and we can even give cash back through a patronage program. But if it's cumbersome and hard to do business with us, customers are going to look for simplicity and convenience elsewhere, because what they don't need is a hassle. With the Lending Lifecycle Initiative, we are working on a simplified environment that will make it be easier for association employee to use, will reduce the risk of human error, and will enable staff members to more effectively and manage the lending process. Several associations are already implementing a key component of the Lending Lifecycle Initiative, which is a new and improved loan origination system. This new system is dubbed AgView Credit Request. It drastically upgrades associations' lending processes and positions AgFirst for what we will believe is to be the premier loan origination solution in the farm credit system. Although this may sound at first like back office stuff, improving and streamlining the lending process will improve the customer experience through a faster and more transparent loan approval process. AgView is a solution that will serve the district and our customers well for years to come. AgView is only an example of many initiatives aimed at addressing customers' ever-expanding expectations while at the same time improving our efficiency and effectiveness. Underlying the improvement in the customer experience and association efficiency is the critical need to keep our customers' personal data secure in an increasingly risky world. We continually work to make sure we are responding to the latest threats, and not just reactively, but proactively. We are fortunate to have teams at AgFirst and at our associations who are constantly scanning the horizon for the next attack and leading us on a path to avoid it. Nothing undermines the customer experience like a data leak or a systems failure and systems that are not reliable. Our teams are constantly testing our readiness and improving their knowledge to ensure our systems work consistently and securely. Ultimately, our mission is to support agriculture in rural communities. To fulfill that mission, we must continue to look for ways to streamline our operations and promote consistency among our associations. Associations will never do everything exactly the same, and that's not what we're striving for. Each association is unique in some regard, but identifying the places where we can use the same systems and achieve consistency is critical. There is strength in numbers, and when we pull together and leverage that strength, we're able to compete on a much higher levels than we would be able to individually. Our commitment to excellence in all these areas is a big part of the reason we expanded our customer base in 2016. Yankee Farm Credit recognized that the AgFirst district was different, that we could provide not only the secure systems and broad range of services that they needed, but that we could do that and would do that with a welcoming smile, a guiding hand, and an eye toward the future. When they signed on with AgFirst, they said it was like joining a family. And while we might not all agree on every topic when we're sitting around the dinner table, but the important thing is we're able to come to a consensus on important items in a way that can move our district, our family, forward together for the betterment of the whole. Working together is important in the good times, but it's downright vital when commodity prices are falling and a new farm bill is on the horizon in a shaky political arena. As we create a strategy for fulfilling the Farm Credit mission for the next 100 years, it will take all of us working together in the cooperative spirit to achieve success. Bringing the district together at this annual meeting is one avenue used to promote that cooperative spirit by providing useful information as well as affording the opportunity to get to know each other better. Now let's take a few moments to watch a video that will help you to get to know each AgFirst board member and learn more about the candidates who are running for various seats on the AgFirst District Board.
Members of the 2017 Board of Directors for AgFirst Farm Credit Bank may represent various areas of our district's geographic footprint, but they all serve together with one purpose of leading our Farm Credit District forward into a bright future. We are pleased to introduce to you the 2017 AgFirst Board. John Langford is chairman of the AgFirst Board. He is from Lakeland, Florida, and serves as a director on the Farm Credit of Central Florida Board. Curtis Hancock is vice chairman of the AgFirst Board. He is from Fulton, Kentucky, and serves as a director on the River Valley Ag Credit Board, as well as the National Farm Credit Council Board. Jack Bentley is from Tignall, Georgia. He serves as a director on the Ag Georgia Farm Credit Board. Jimmy Carter is from McDonough, Georgia. He serves as a director on the Ag South Farm Credit Board and the National Farm Credit Council Board. Bonnie Hancock is from Wake Forest, North Carolina. She serves as one of 2 outside directors on the AgFirst Board. Dale Hershey is from Mannheim, Pennsylvania, and serves as a director on the Mid-Atlantic Farm Credit, the National Farm Credit Council, and the Farm Credit Council Services Boards. Walt Hopkins is from Lewes, Delaware. He serves as a director on the Mid-Atlantic Farm Credit Board. Bill Jackson is from New Salem, Pennsylvania. He serves as a director on the Ag Choice Farm Credit Board. Jerry Lehman is from Kenton, Ohio. He serves as a director on the Ag Credit Board. Alan Marsh is from Madison, Alabama. He serves as a director on the First South Farm Credit Board. Jim May is from Waynesburg, Kentucky. He serves as a director on the Central Kentucky Ag Credit Board. Fred Moore is from Eden, Maryland. He serves as a director on the Mid-Atlantic Farm Credit Board. Jimmy Norsworthy is from Jackson, Louisiana. He serves as a director on the First South Farm Credit Board. Catherine Pace is from Orlando, Florida. She serves as one of 2 outside directors on the AgFirst Board. Tommy Porter is from Concord, North Carolina. He serves as a director on the Carolina Farm Credit Board. William Robinson is from St. Matthews, South Carolina. He serves as a director on the Ag South Farm Credit Board. Robert Spires is from Stony Creek, Virginia. He serves as a director on the Colonial Farm Credit Board and the National Farm Credit Council Board. Bo Stone is from Roland, North Carolina. He serves as a director on the Cape Fear Farm Credit Board. Ellis Taylor is from Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. He serves as a director on the Ag Carolina Farm Credit Board and the Farm Credit Federal Funding Corporation Board. AgFirst thanks each of these directors for their invaluable service to our board and our district. Their unwavering dedication and tireless leadership keep our district on the right track. If you would like to know more about the directors who serve on the AgFirst board, please refer to the director brochure included in your registration packet. Now, we will turn our attention to the candidates seeking to give their service to the AgFirst board. For the 2017 Bank Board election, the following candidates have been nominated by the AgFirst Nominating Committee and the AgFirst stockholders. For Region 1 Equity seat, the candidates are Guy Daughtry from Lenox, Georgia. He serves as a director on the Ag Georgia Farm Credit Board. And Alan Marsh from Madison, Alabama. He serves as a director on the First South Farm Credit Board. For Region 2 State Seat 1, The candidates are Bill Franklin from Duffield, Virginia. He serves as a director on the Farm Credit of the Virginias Board. And Paul Rogers from Wakefield, Virginia. He serves on the Colonial Farm Credit Board. For Region 2, State Seat 2, the candidates are Alvin Lyons from Georgetown, Kentucky. He serves on the Central Kentucky Ag Credit Board. Jimmy Poston from Johnsonville, South Carolina. He serves on the Arbor One Farm Credit Board. And David Richardson from Philadelphia, Tennessee. He serves on the River Valley Ag Credit Board. For Region 3 State Seat, the candidates are Fred Moore from Eden, Maryland. He serves on the Mid-Atlantic Farm Credit Board. And Michael Sorales from Coto Laurel, Puerto Rico. He serves on the Puerto Rico Farm Credit Board. We appreciate the efforts of the AgFirst Nominating Committee and the AgFirst stockholders in establishing candidates for these seats. Over the course of the next 2 days, we hope you will have an opportunity to personally talk with each of the candidates, as well as attend the director candidate interview sessions being held on Tuesday morning beginning at 7:30 a.m. This forum provides an opportunity for you to get to know the candidates through predetermined questions, as well as questions from the floor. Information on each candidate can be found in the 2017 Annual Meeting Information Statement, which was included in your registration material, along with information on the director candidate interview process. If you did not receive one, extra copies are available at the registration desk. The election ballot, along with required candidate disclosure documents, will be mailed on or before July 31st, with receipt of the election ballot due no later than 12 noon on October 3rd, 2017. Should you have additional questions about the AgFirst election process, please feel free to contact Francis Griggs, the bank's general counsel, or Mary Beth Corbett, the bank's corporate secretary. Thank you for your attention to this important information. We hope you enjoy the rest of your time at this year's annual meeting.
I hope you enjoyed learning more about our board and those who wish to give service to the board next year. It's always exciting to look forward to the future with optimism. As we prepared that video for the board of directors, you can't imagine how much apprehension and skepticism we had as we did that. We were a little nervous. I know you could tell that by looking at me anyway. We'll now take a 20-minute break before we receive an economic and political update. And let's see, we'll be back in here at 10 minutes after 9.